There's nothing but good times and tan lines on Nashville Notes, where country's biggest hits meets hidden gems, all with a father-daughter twist. Today we'll tell you who we are, what music we're drawn to, and we're talking Zach Top. Let's get to it. Welcome in to the first edition of Nashville Notes. I am known as the mayor, Ryan Mueller, and beside me is my daughter, country girl, Ellie.
Hello.
This is our first official podcast. We wanted to do something music related. We've been going to a lot of concerts, listening to a lot of music, and you know, what do you do when you have that sort of lifestyle? You do a podcast, so that's what we're doing here. We got a couple things we're going to cover today, this being our first podcast. Of course, we've got to tell you who we are, you know, what we're doing here, what to expect. Of course, with a podcast, that all evolves over time. It's like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So we'll probably get punched in the face at some point here, and we'll change, but we wanted to kind of get some of that stuff out of the way. And we're going to talk about Zach Top. So a lot of what we're going to do, of course, is this is going to be about the music, about artists, about current artists, about the hot artists, but also about those artists that you might not hear on the radio for sure, and they might not pop up in your streams on like your Spotify's and Pandora's or whatever, and we want to try and discover some of those artists as well. I know I was in that boat for quite a while. My Spotify algorithm had its own idea of what I wanted, and I was missing out on a lot of different artists, so that's why we're here. About our podcast, so like I said at the open, we're a father-daughter duo. We're country music fans. We have been going to a lot of concerts. I mean, when I was younger, we did a few concerts. I wouldn't say as many as we've done over the past year, but we'd hit, my wife and I would hit some concerts, and we'd hit it with friends and have a good time. And, you know, we just kind of got away from that for various reasons. And now I've got kids that are older, kids that can do podcasts with me about it. So that's what we're going to do. Ellie, I don't know if you've got anything to add to that.
That about covers it, I think.
All right. Good.
Yep.
We want this to be entertaining. We want it to be more than just music clips and artist bios. And, you know, those are cool, and we'll get into some of that stuff here. But we want to be also a part of your day, be entered, you know, give you some laughs, hopefully, give you some insight, give you some, obviously, some different artists to try, right? I think I did a little research before starting this, and a lot of what's out there is a lot of course, artist interviews. And, you know, maybe someday we get to that point where we are lucky enough to get some artists on this show. I don't know. We're just starting out, so who knows? I don't think any artist is going to look at this and say, oh, you've had one episode and you want me to come on? Nah, you know, we'll take a hard pass on that. So, but, you know, eventually we might get to that point where we're lucky enough to be interviewing some of our artists and some of the up and coming artists as well, as we'll talk about in either this episode or future episodes. We've had a chance to meet some artists in our concert going, so that was pretty cool. Some up and coming artists as well.
Oh, yeah.
That we'll certainly feature on here. But what I found is it's, you know, music podcasts are either doing those interviews or they're just outright just playing clips. And some of them I found they're just running down an artist's CD and playing those. And it just, I don't know, it wasn't fun to me.
Yeah, I listened to one the other day, and it was literally just, they would play a song, they would talk about the song, and then they would just, like, it wasn't funny, it was just boring. They were just giving facts about the song.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to be a little bit different, and, you know, hopefully we are. And if not, you know what? At the end of the show, we'll give you our information to contact us, and you can tell us that we were boring and that we need to change, and you guys are stupid. That's fine. I'm used to that. I've done hundreds of podcasts at this point in my life. I'm used to people telling me I'm dumb. So, and then of course we want to discover new artists. Like I was saying before, we have, there's a ton of artists, I should say, out there that I don't think are getting the recognition they should have. We'll talk about a few of them here for sure, and I get, every Friday I get emails on the new music coming out. So I'm checking through those to see, who's good, right? Who haven't I heard about? Who needs some love, right? So we want to give those artists some recognition. We want to give them a place to kind of hopefully get the word out on them as well. Whether it be our, starting out ones of listeners at this point, we'll tell you, and hopefully you tell your friends, and then, we'll grow from there. So.
Yes, I've, a lot of the new artists that we want to talk about, the ones that don't get a lot of play, they're so talented, compared to, what gets played on the radio nowadays is just, it's kind of repetitive. It's good, but these artists that don't get a lot of play are just so much better, I've found.
Yeah, there's a ton. And we'll probably get into this at some point as well, but there's definitely a formula for what gets played on the radio, and I think a formula for who gets the accolades and who gets pushed in the mainstream, right?
Right.
And part of my personality is, and this goes back probably to after my high school years, because I think as a teenager you're kind of in that and you think that music's the greatest. But as I've grown in my musical taste, I found that there's certain, you can definitely tell there's a formula, and there's certainly not different, but the same beats and rhythms going on in music that are played on the radio versus if you go to your Spotify and just start looking up other artists, right? And
Right.
I've really been able to take, and my Spotify algorithm has changed up a little bit, but now if I'm listening to a certain artist, it just gives me more of that instead of mixing it. So it probably has more training I need to do, but it's, there's some definite, I think it just goes back to my independent streak. I don't want a record executive telling me what I like. I want to go find what I like.
Yeah. When I first got my radio in 2022 or 2023, I would just only listen to whatever they played on the radio, and that's it's good, but I wasn't very open to trying new ones as I am today. I definitely wouldn't want to listen to the kind of music that we're going to cover in this podcast back then.
Yeah.
I wasn't very open to it. I would only listen to the one song, Slow Down Summer by Thomas Rhett.
Okay.
Every hour.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, too, and we'll get into this a little bit more. But, there's artists where I've literally, been in my car, because I drive 45 minutes to work, and I'd have the radio on, and I'd hear 3 songs by the same artist in that 45 minutes. 3 different songs, but it's all the same artist. I'm like, you got to mix this up for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great transition into kind of getting into some of our musical tastes, right? So I grew up with, I didn't grow up with country music. My parents listened to classic rock, which, it's sad to say that the songs I listened to as a teenager are now on the classic rock stations. Yeah, I might be. My dad had some classic country in his collection, some Conway Twitty, Johnny Cash, some Alabama, records and 8-track tapes. And do you even know what an 8-track tape is?
Not really.
It's a cassette that was about the size of your hand.
Oh.
Well, my hand, probably not yours. You got smaller hands than I do. But so I was exposed to some country, and that classic country, little outlaw country with Johnny Cash. You got, the Alabamas in there. I mean, great artists, right? Definitely forerunners to what we have today. Definitely, super talented artists. But I had, had more of the classic rock background, because that's what my parents had on in the car all the time. So Beatles and Bruce Springsteen, kind of in the 80s. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, those kinds of artists from, the olden days of the 1900s. as I grew older, I trended towards hip hop and R&B in my early teen years. So you want to talk about music being the same? Go and try and listen to a hip hop song and an R&B song today. Now back in the 90s, artists had their own distinctive style. Now all their songs might have had the same basic beats behind them, but they were unique. And the melodies were unique to particular artists. So you could pick out a Digital Underground from a Tupac, from a Master P, from a Dr. Dre, from a Snoop Dogg. Today, I can't tell you who's who.
That's very true.
In addition to, I don't understand a freaking word they're saying because everybody's mumbling everything.
Yes, it annoys me so much.
And unfortunately, it's making its way into country music.
Yes, and all the auto-tune.
Oh my God, yeah.
Awful.
Yes, I mean, the artist I just named, Johnny Cash, I was never auto-tune.
Never.
Conway Twitty, never auto-tune. Merle, Waylon, never auto-tune. Today, it's all auto-tune garbage when you get into that poppy side of things.
Yes.
I had that taste in my early teen years, and then as I got more into high school and kind of branched out in the friend group, I started getting into the grunge. I started getting into alternative. So your Pearl Jams, your Nirvanas, the metal, Metallicas, and such in high school. And that's not to say I didn't like some country, but I didn't have the deep appreciation and didn't really do the deep dive in it at that point. Yeah, I knew who Garth Brooks was, and honestly, at the time, Garth Brooks kind of annoyed me because he was one of those that was all over the radio, right? Yeah. All over everything, even people in school. I'm like, I'm tired of Garth Brooks. But, I knew about Brooks and Dunn. I like some of the Brooks and Dunn. Just what was played probably on the radio popularly, though. I didn't do the deep dive I've done since, as I've grown older, into their whole catalog and like, oh, man, this is really awesome, right? I found country more in the early 2000s, starting to take a little more deep kind of appreciation of it, mainly because your mom is a country fan. I don't know that her catalog goes as deep as mine because I'm certainly into the classics, the Merle Haggards and the Johnny Cashes, and she gets annoyed when I play them. She's like, turn that off. I'm bored. These are classics.
She hates Dwight Yoakam.
She hates Dwight. I love Dwight Yoakam.
Dwight Yoakam is so good.
He's so good. I don't know why. I don't know what is her deal. I don't know, if she had a bad experience with a Dwight Yoakam song playing in the background once. I have no idea.
I think it's because she hates his voice.
I think it is, but I think it's a not only a classic voice, but a unique voice.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want everybody to be an auto-tune Autobot.
Yeah.
I want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
So I started getting more into country in the early 2000s. And then by the early 2010s, I had a job where I was in a customer type of role where I'd go and visit my customers, and my customer was in Nashville. So I'd go there in the early 2010s, and as Blake Shelton once said, I went honky-tonkin' and that was it. I went full in. Country became my preferred genre. Because there's something to be said about going and experiencing music at the source, right? And you go into the honky-tonks, I can tell you, and anybody who's been to Nashville can tell you that's gone honky-tonking, especially back in the days of when I went. Now it's very commercialized, and we were there just this past summer, and the bands seem to be a lot better. It would be, one was okay. We went into, what was it, Honky Tonk? No, I think it was Rippies. And the band that we had in there, they were, you know what, they're better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, here to rip bands or anything, but on the scale of where they would rank in terms of talented bands playing, on Lower Broadway in Nashville, they're not an upper echelon. They weren't. They were fine. Yeah. Right, they were good background music, but that's exactly it. They were background music, where if you have a really good band there, you are all in on them. You are possibly dancing. You're paying attention to them, not talking to people around you. You're paying attention to them and the song. So I was there, and at that time, Nashville hadn't been super commercialized yet. None of the artists had bars down there. So it was mostly pretty much all hole-in-the-wall type places, which were just great places to walk in and hear some music, have a drink or two, and have some, have a good time. So it got me hooked in. I'm like, okay, I got to check more of this out. And then, at that time, too, the show Nashville was on TV. Like, say what you want about that, about me watching that Nashville. I love the music, right? That's what I was there for. And, had a decent enough storyline where it's like, okay, people in the struggle of the music industry. So that's kind of where my genesis of country music, kind of how it evolved there. And then it's now my main genre, right? And I think it's because what I didn't realize, and it was probably because it was just starting to come about in, I would say, the early 90s, late 80s, when you had, of course, the Alan Jacksons, the George Straits, right? Keith Whitley's, the Toby Keith's, but you also had this transformation with when Brooks and Dunn came on the scene, more of a rockabilly, let's call it, honky-tonk, high energy honky-tonk rock feel to the music that kind of, I think, started this kind of crossover of the genres into country music and having more of that rock influence. And now today we're obviously seeing more of the pop influence, which we'll have some thoughts on that in a future episode.
Oh yeah,
probably
hopefully
many future episodes. But I think the styles that play well and cross over well into country, where you don't lose the country feel, is the rock, is the blues, is some of those kind of other genres that I think mix very well and don't dilute the country of country music, right? Because I think if it was still called like the old Hank Senior or even Bobby Bear type country, I don't know that it gets as popular as it is today. And I like those artists. I'll put them on from time to time.
Yeah. But
they're not going to be in the regular rotation. I've got to stay awake.
Oh yeah, that's.
And I think it's helped kept kind of the mixing has helped keep the genre interesting, and I think it's opened it up to a lot of other artists who I don't know that they would have a voice on rock radio or even pop radio, because there's definitely a formula to make to be on those formats as well, right? So if you don't have it, because you don't see the crossover of well, I'll just use an example. You don't see a crossover of like Morgan Wallen, who we're definitely going to cover at some point here, of his, let's call his more recent songs. I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you have the crossover of him from the country radio, and they're not also playing him on like the pop radio side of things. And you don't have Taylor Swift, who's now, I guess they finally kicked her out of the country club, because she's not like, otherwise she'd be up for awards every year, and she wasn't up for any awards in I don't know how many years.
Yeah, there was a mural in Nashville of like country icons, and they painted over Taylor Swift recently.
Well, there you go. So she's been kicked out of the country club.
Yeah, she definitely has been.
I don't think even when she was a, air quotes, country artist, and she might have been, I guess to that point, I think, she kind of was more so in her early days.
Yeah, I think her first 3, maybe 4 albums were pretty country. Definitely her first album was super country. But
yeah, well, you're the Taylor expert, so yeah. I have to always have a Taylor expert.
Yep, that would be me.
But yeah, I think even then, even when she started trending more pop, I don't think she was even getting the crossover play until she was fully immersed in the pop world, and country kind of finally said, okay, we're done with Taylor.
Yeah.
So that's a case of where you have someone who's cross genres, but still didn't have her voice on, call it pop mainstream radio, until she cut ties, let's call it, with country.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, and then I want to hear about your musical journey. But I have eclectic musical tastes, right? And it drives my wife nuts. When I had Sirius XM radio, we'd get in the car and I'd have the blues station on. And she'd be like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's blues." "What do you mean?" Because also when I was in Nashville, there's this, we never went to it when we were there. I don't even think we went down Printer's Alley when we were there. But
we walked by.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Maybe, I don't think we went down it, but.
Yeah, we went
maybe.
through one of the other alleys,
Yeah.
whatever it was. I can't remember now, but I don't think we went down Printer's Alley. But down Printer's Alley, there's a blues club down there. And it's, what's it called? Bourbon Street Blues and Boogie Club or something like that. And I went in there, and this place has an awesome vibe. And I liked some bluesy stuff before, but sitting there, there's just something, again, you go to the source of the music, and there's just something different, I think, that enhances your appreciation and gives you a new view on the music. There's something to be said for sitting in a cool blues club, sipping on a whiskey, listening to some blues. And I've been to several blues clubs now ever since then. I've been to Muddy Waters' place in Chicago. I was one in Austin when I was in Austin last year. These places are really cool, and they give a cool vibe, and it makes you appreciate the music more. So my music tastes go far and wide. I mean, I'll put some mariachi on sometimes. Just, because, well, one, maybe I haven't been to a taco restaurant for a while and haven't had it. But two, I mean, I just love the different sounds of it, right? And then, of course, I always have make time to go back to my roots, the rock, the 90s hip hop. I'm not trying to listen to too much of the garbage today, but, those make an appearance. Your Pearl Jams, Nirvanas, that sort of thing are always making an appearance. So that's my journey. What do you got, Ellie?
Okay, so I think that my earliest memories of listening to music would be in the car, specifically my mom's car, listening to Florida Georgia Line, and also in your car, mostly Brooks and Dunn is what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't really into music because I was like younger, but
yeah.
Nowadays, in like 2022 or 2023, my brother gave me an old radio, and I listened to that thing nonstop, but I would only listen to the country station, as I mentioned before, and it was pretty much just one song, and it was Slow Down Summer by Thomas Rhett. I hated it at first, but I grew to like it from listening to it.
Some of it
10
grows
times a day.
on you.
It does.
Yeah.
It definitely does. And I don't really remember what else was played that summer, and then I discovered Taylor Swift's old country music, and I really, really liked that. I think it was, I don't know how I discovered it. I think one of my friends played Love Story for me off of her second album, and I really liked it. So I kind of, started listening to that, and then I rediscovered Morgan Wallen, who I used to be so obsessed with his song with Florida Georgia Line, Uptown.
Yeah, that was a great song.
It's still a great song.
Yeah.
Still holds up. It's a really good song. And nowadays, I kind of go through like phases of what artists I like, but there's always a couple main ones that I will still go back to at the end of the day, and that would be Morgan Wallen,
Yeah.
Bailey Zimmerman, and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And but I have some phases right now. My phase is probably Megan Maroney and the Red Clay Strays, and of course Zach Thompson.
Yeah. Oh, the Red Clay Strays are so good.
They are so good. And then there's just some other artists that I'll just throw in the rotation sometimes, like Riley Green, Lainey Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
And of course Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah. Oh, you have to.
Of course.
You have to.
They don't have a bad song.
No. And they're still the duo of the year.
Still
I mean, they haven't really put out any new records in, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years?
I don't even know.
But they still seem to win duo of the year every year.
Every year. And that is how it should be, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it should be.
Till they say we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even really name a duo that's, even better, that's putting new stuff out.
You can't even name a duo that comes even close to Brooks and Dunn.
No. So Brooks and Dunn will definitely be on this show. Well, their music, I'll say, I don't know that they will be, but their music will definitely be on this show at some point. So what we want to cover, kind of our first 3 episodes that we're going to do, is going to give you not only a little flavor of kind of some of the things we have planned for the show that will rotate through the show, but I also want to cover the CMA New Artists of the Year nominees, because this is kind of what we're about, is finding these new artists, right? And I know these, well, I'll say this, 4 of the 5 new artists are getting mainstream-ish at this point. I wouldn't say they're super mainstream, but they're definitely getting play on the radio. They definitely are getting the streams on like a Spotify. So their name is out there. They're known, but they're still new. And I think there's still a lot of growth that I'm excited to see from each of these artists on where they take their careers. And I hope they have long, successful careers. So the first one that we're going to cover, and we're covering today, is Zach Top. And I'll say this, we went to CMA Fest last year. Yeah. And I saw on there Zach Top was one of the artists. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard a Zach Top song. So, and you said, oh, yeah, I think you had. And you told me, oh, yeah, he's really good. And then I put on, so I'm like, okay, I got to put it on because the CMA, with the CMA Fest, they put out this list of the performers. And then all of a sudden I hear this pop up. And I'm like, oh, hell no, we're in for some country music right now.
Literally.
Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, we've got country music artists playing country music. And then I'd hear them on the radio, and I'm turning the radio up. I'm like, yes, this is what country music has missed, in my opinion, in the last 10 to 15 years, is someone that's out there in that traditional mold. Now, I think he classifies himself, and we'll do a little deeper dive into Zach in a minute, but he classifies himself, or maybe the Country Music Association does, or somebody, but as a neo-traditional country artist. And I'm like, finally, we've got somebody that is here that's kind of taking the mantle from Alan Jackson and George Strait and Toby Keith to kind of carry on in that tradition. And now I know, like, you might say Toby Keith, and he was a little more on the rock side of things, and I tend to agree with that. But he was there, kind of in that mold with Alan Jackson and George Strait, and just kind of some good country music. And you're going back even a little bit to the 80s, and we'll get into it a little bit with some of Zach's influences, but like your Keith Whitleys and your George Joneses and some of those artists. But I'm like, yes, finally, a country artist that is rising to the top of the country charts, if you will. It's not just all pop. It's not just all the bro country, right? And I like some of the pop stuff, right? Our next artist that is on our list that we'll talk about in the next episode is Ella Langley. I don't know, man of my age, if I can, actually like Ella Langley, because... Yeah, I'm not exactly Ella Langley's demographic, probably.
No, Ella Langley's definitely for the teenage girls.
But what Ella Langley brings that's, in my opinion, different from the female artists, and I don't want to give too much away, but she brings a country female. Like I wouldn't go as far as saying she's like the female Zach Top, because I don't know that she's as country as some of the predecessors before, but she's certainly more country than the Megan Maronis and Kelsey Ballerinis.
That is true.
So I like Ella Langley. I like her music, and your sister and I were having a discussion one time, and she asked me, what do you like better? Do you like the male artist better or the female artist? I said, I tend to lean towards the male artist, right? And I think that's country music. That's probably true of, if not, utilizing 80% of people, it could be 80 or more, right? Might be like 90, 95. But I do like to listen to the female artists because they have a different tone of voice. They have a different style of storytelling and a different style of music, and it mixes things up. And I really like that.
Yes, I like it too. I definitely prefer the male artists. I don't know. I like their version of storytelling, but the female artists definitely do a good job as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I can appreciate, and I would say it's definitely true. In country music, it is tougher for a female artist.
Definitely.
And maybe too, that's why it's trended towards more incorporating more of the pop sound to it, because that's maybe more something that the female artists are more, I guess, kind of attached to in people's minds. Is they're female artists, they're more like on the pop side of things, right? Because I think if you go to pop music, it's a ton of female artists.
Oh, definitely.
There's not a lot of male pop artists.
I can think of one.
Yeah.
Like, off the top of my head, one.
Yeah, I can't think of any because I don't really listen to that music anymore. I never did, but I really don't know. But I think that, I think the country music is kind of drawing in more of the talented female artists. Like I said, that maybe wouldn't have their voice on a pop station, but you give them a pop sound in a country setting and they're there.
Yeah.
So I like Ella. I think she tells a good story. We're going to cover her in our next episode. Steven Wilson Jr. is the next one. We're going to cover him in the next episode as well. I'll just say this. He's phenomenal.
Yes, he's
and I'll leave
good.
it at that because we're going to cover him next.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too many spoilers away here.
Right.
We're giving what's called teases. We call this a tease in the industry.
Yeah.
But and then episode 3, we're going to cover Tucker Wetmore and Shabuzi, right? And I think Shabuzi, out of all these, the one you could say has blown up the most has been Shabuzi.
Definitely, with a bar song.
Yes. Yeah, he's been the one that's blown up the most, right?
Yeah,
And
I think so, yeah.
again, I like it. I like Shabuzi. I think all of these artists we got to see at CMA Fest. Steven Wilson Jr. was there.
He was?
He was. I was looking through because I was like, because I was trying to remember. I'm like, did we see Steven Wilson Jr. at CMA Fest? And maybe it's something getting updated for the next CMA Fest, but it took me to their website because I was looking specifically who played during CMA Fest in 2025. And it had Steven Wilson Jr. and Shabuzi. Now, maybe they're coming next year because they did do a song together.
They did. Oh, yes, they did. I remember now.
For the, was it for the Long Walk movie, maybe?
Yeah,
I think on that soundtrack. I think it was. I don't know. I do some research. I probably could do more than what I do, and I would know that specifically for you all, but I don't, so sorry. But yeah, if he wasn't at CMA Fest, we've seen him in some things since, and man, I'm like, how have I missed Steven Wilson Jr.?
Yeah, I hadn't heard of him until the CMA Awards.
Yeah, and I had heard of him a little before that. And I think when the awards came out, I started listening to him more heavily. I'm like,
Same.
Damn, how did I miss that? Okay, but no more because we're going to talk about Steven Wilson on the next episode. So Zach Top. So we've seen Zach Top, twice this year?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah. We saw him at CMA Fest. And I'll say this, when he played at CMA Fest, those of you that have been there's 4 nights of concerts at the stadium. And it goes from like 8 to midnight-ish, even later, depending.
Yeah.
The last act is kind of they play however long they seem to want to play.
Yeah.
Like Keith Urban kept playing. Like we had a rain delay the night we saw Keith Urban.
Mm-hmm.
He was the headliner. The headliner we call headliner because it's basically all headliners or 3 headliners anyway. Mm-hmm. But he was the one playing last on the night that we had rainstorms in Nashville. And everybody had their sets cut short. We started later. They delayed the start of the night concerts. And everybody had their sets cut shorter. Usually they'd play 6 or 7 songs, and I think they cut it down to between 3 and 5, depending on length. Yeah. Keith Urban kept playing. He literally, usually their sets would be, 20, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, something like that. Keith Urban played, I think, for almost an hour.
Really?
And he walked around the stadium.
Oh, yeah. He did. I really liked that.
Yeah. I mean, great, just a great performance. And he was stopping there. I remember he stopped by this kid with special needs, and he was just like shook his hand.
And he gave him his guitar pick.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
I know, that was really cute.
You know, I guess that kind of brings me to one other point I wanted to make too before we'll talk about the other time we saw Zach Top. But the other thing I think about country music, you know, not only is it genre spanning, but it's really truly, I think, a community.
Yeah.
Right. I think the artists are, and I'm not saying that the artists in the other genres aren't good people and nice people, but I really think because CMA Fest, the artists play on their own dime. They don't get paid to do that.
No.
So not only are they, you know, doing this performance, they're doing it for, you know, nothing. They're not getting any monetary compensation for it. They're doing it out of the goodness of their own heart, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Which is really cool because it benefits the CMA Foundation for Music, I think in Nashville area or Tennessee, something like that. It's really a community of art, you know, the artists and the people coming together. And the best thing about CMA Fest was it was really, it's really like a family oriented event as well. I mean, people had their kids of all ages out there and, you know, really, really a cool time. So I really appreciate that part of country music as well. As it seems like it's more of a community than some of the other genres.
Yes, and if you like go to a country music concert, the artists are like super interactive with the crowd, and they'll give away like their guitar picks and stuff. And I don't know, just like kind of talk to the audience, you know, just be super nice. And I don't know, I haven't really seen that much in pop very much. Like, I saw it with like Taylor Swift. She would give away the 22 hat on the Eras tour. And that was about the only thing in pop where I've seen artists like really interact with the crowds other than just throwing a guitar pick in. Yeah. That's like the only thing I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen in, you know, some of the hard rock concerts. One, you know, when I went to, I was 18 or something, it was Rob Zombie and Korn. And I'm sure someone, you know, did a stage dive into the crowd, but that's about all you'll get. Like they'll crowd surf the artist. But, you know, I think with country music, you see a lot more of kind of just like you said, that interaction with the fans. So, and then we saw Zach Top in Louisville for a full concert.
Yes.
And he played for a long time.
That was a long time.
He literally played, I think, his 2 albums.
Yeah.
Cold Beer and Country Music and Ain't In It For My Health. Plus, he did some of his bluegrass stuff from when he was with the bluegrass band, Modern Tradition. And it was kind of funny because it was during the baseball playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
And he kept asking his sound guy to get a check on the Mariners game because he's from Washington State.
Yes.
And I'm like, I get it because I'm a Brewers fan. They were in the playoffs as well at the time too, but they weren't playing that day. They were playing on a day we were driving down, and I was trying to get the game in and stream it on my radio and not on my radio, on my phone, and because I couldn't get on the radio because we were driving to Louisville, and we were out of range. So it was blacked out on the WTMJ, which is the local station here that carries the Brewers games. It was blacked out on there. But it was kind of funny that Zach kept asking, "Hey, can I get can I get an update on the Mariners game?" And I'm up there. I'm like, "I get it, man."
Yeah.
You know, I totally understand because the Mariners haven't been in that position a whole lot.
No.
As a franchise, I mean, and the Brewers have really only been in that kind of position recently. I mean, probably from 2008 on has probably been the best stretch of Brewer baseball in my whole life. As far as their team success and you know, being at least in the conversation for being in the playoffs. Before that, they were not good. So I get it. And then I think he posted something after the concert.
Yeah.
That said, you know, for everybody that was in Louisville, you know, I'm sorry, I just kind of didn't do the encore. I had to go. I was already down trying to get the Mariners game on TV, and I told Ellie, I'm like, I totally understand that and respect that. And you know what? He played everything. He played for almost 2 hours.
I'm pretty sure he just added the encore onto the original.
I think
set.
He did. Yeah.
Because it was a long time.
Because he played Never Lie. He played Sounds Like the Radio. And I figured those would probably have been 2 of his encore songs.
Yeah. Probably.
So he covered them. He wasn't getting out of that concert without playing those.
Definitely not.
So, but overall, great. Great concert, right? It makes me excited to say, okay, let's see, because we've had other artists that have been tabbed as, the one that's going to step into an Alan Jackson's shoes or a George Strait's shoes, right?
People are actually saying that Zach Top would be like Alan Jackson's son, and they thought that he actually was, because he keeps his dad a secret, but he's not, sadly, unfortunately. That would have been great.
No, and there's that conspiracy theory about him, that he's Alan Jackson's son. If it seems like he popped on the scene out of nowhere, he kind of did, but he put his work in well before popping out on the scene. He had, and I've seen clips of it. I don't know if you have. I've seen clips of him in his family's bluegrass band.
Yes.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Him and his siblings in this bluegrass band. I thought that was pretty awesome. And just before kind of going with his solo act, he was part of Modern Tradition, a part of that bluegrass band. And I think maybe it's his self-titled EP has some of that bluegrass music on it from his time on Modern Tradition. I'm trying to remember back now.
It does.
Okay. And so he's got that kind of that bluegrass background. So it's like, all right, you're a country dude, man. I love it. We need this.
Yes.
And he says his top influences are Merle Haggard, Keith Whitley, and George Jones are like his top, depending on the interviews you see. Because he also says, he's influenced by George Strait, Alan Jackson, Mark Chestnut, Joe Diffie, Tracy Lawrence, and Randy Travis, which I think you can see all of that in his music.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And kind of before we dive into some specific songs here, I just want to say I can see that I went and listened to some Keith Whitley because I hadn't heard any Keith Whitley for a while and was struggling to think about what does Keith Whitley sound like? What does he sing about, right? And I can definitely see the Whitley influence in songs like Cowboys Like Me Do, Lonely for Long, South of Sanity on a new album, right? And I can see the Randy Travis in, songs like Dirt Turns to Gold.
Oh,
he sounds a lot like Randy Travis in that.
Yeah, on that one, now that you say that.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
And then, of course, if you listen to I Never Lie and don't think George Strait, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's
just when this hits. That's George Strait all the way.
Yeah.
So he's he didn't exactly come out of nowhere. He's been doing the music for a while. He's got 7.3 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which I think is a really good number.
Yeah, that
right?
definitely is.
On country radio, he's got 17 million impressions on country radio I should have written down if it was the last month, last year. I don't remember. And he had 55 stations when his single Sounds Like the Radio came out. It was on 55 stations.
It's really good.
I'm like, what are the other stations doing?
Yeah.
Because that Sounds Like the Radio is, I want to say, kind of Brooks and Dunnish a bit.
Yeah, I can
a little.
see that.
Just in the upbeat tempo of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the guitar riffs like Brooks and Dunn does, but the feel of the song to me is very Brooks and Dunn. I would say it probably leans maybe in the Alan Jackson camp a little bit, maybe in that Joe Diffie, Tracy Lawrence a little bit as well. But it's just a great song about 90s country.
Yeah,
right.
It is.
So that brings us what we want to focus on to kind of wrap up our show for today, is just focusing on some of the songs from his new album, Ain't In It For My Health. And we picked five songs because, like we were talking about at the open, it's just boring to listen to somebody play every record or every song on the album and then talk about it for a little bit. I mean, if you want to do that, if you want to listen to someone's album, you can go to Spotify and listen to it. That's my theory. But we have 5 songs that we picked because they're great songs. We want to talk about them just to give you a flavor of what Zach Top is all about. So we have these 5 songs, but we're also going to rate them. We're going to rate the songs, and we're going to also rate the album overall. And we have a proprietary scale here on Nashville Notes. We're going to rate these songs based on a scale of 1 to 5 Nashville hot chickens. 1 being, could be better, needs to be better, and 5, like, this is the greatest thing ever, right? So that's how we're going to rate each thing because, just a 1 to 5 or something like that is boring.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want to be boring here. So what I'll do is I will play a clip of each song, and then we'll talk about it. So the first song will be his guitar.
I want a handle come off the shovel, swung the head off a hammer too, but that don't drive the girls crazy.
All right, this to me is a great start to the album. Yeah. It's very Joe Diffie with a splash of Mark Chestnut in this.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think about the Joe Diffie and your mom. She likes some Joe Diffie. She doesn't like other Joe Diffie. Like I like the song "Prop Me Up" by the Jukebox by Joe Diffie.
One.
I know your mom hates it.
Why?
Yeah, because she says it's weird.
Okay, it's a little weird, but not that
I don't mind
weird.
It's a great song.
It is.
And I can see some of it in guitar.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's an upbeat song, comes out of the gate hot. You got a little, like I said, a splash of Mark Chestnut in this thing. It gets you into honky-tonk mode, though. And I don't know, like I was really impressed with how Zach Top picks a guitar.
Yeah.
He's fantastic guitar
really,
picker.
Really good.
And he says the thing in the song because he doesn't have a song titled "Ain't in It for My Health." So like a little inside baseball. I also am part of a movie podcast, and whenever they say the movie title in the movie, we say, "Oh, they said the thing." So Zach Top said the thing. So, and to me, this is just a song about doing what you love. Like he loves playing his guitar.
He does. He's very good at it too. So I wish I could play guitar, but I am really bad at it. So, but I admire Zach Top's enthusiasm for the fine instrument of the guitar.
All right, and the next one is "Good Times and Tan Lines." And this is Chattahoochee for the new generation.
Oh, definitely.
If you don't think Alan Jackson, before you hear Zach Top singing it, I literally, if you just listen to this and I didn't tell you who the artist was, and I just played the snippet when this thing started and stopped it before Zach started singing, you would probably tell me this is an Alan Jackson song. But it's not. You get to hear Zach start singing.
Yeah.
And it's great. And this is just a feel-good song about the summer.
Yes, I immediately thought of Chattahoochee.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought
It's
of.
Chattahoochee all the way.
Literally, like the most Chattahoochee song without being Chattahoochee.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and just this song brings back, even in the depths of winter, which we're in now, the snow is all pretty much melted now, but it brings back memories of summer. And I remember because I remember when he was at CMA Fest.
Yes, he played it for the
I think he
first time.
debuted it there.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm like, when's the album coming?
Literally.
Give me the next album. Man, this song is awesome.
Yes.
All right, so the next song that we want to talk about is Flip Flop.
Now I don't give a flip flop if I ever see that beach again. She tore me apart.
All right, to me, this one is very Kenny Chesney.
Oh, yes. That's
Like,
immediately what I thought of.
I don't think Zach notes Kenny Chesney as one of his influences at all.
No, but
But this song is very Kenny Chesney. Island beats, just kind of pina colada type drink in your hand on a beach somewhere. Right now, it's kind of a song about some heartbreak type stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe met an island girl or something there, and he's like, "I don't care, you're gone, whatever." but still a great song. And you know what? I would like to see Zach Top, if you ever happen to listen to this, call up Kenny Chesney and do like a remix with him of this song. Do a duet with him of this song.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Because you want to sell tickets? I'm printing you money right now, Zach Top. Do it. All right. Anything else you want to say about that song? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it just definitely reminds me of summer, and I really like how he's like, I don't give a flip-flop about you anymore. Like, yes. I like that a lot.
Yeah, send her packing. You don't need that kind of negativity, Zach.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Don't settle.
All right, the next one is South of Sanity.
But I'm somewhere outside of Missoula. They just called my name.
Now, this is one of those slow songs you can definitely see the Keith Whitley influence in.
Yes.
It's, it may be, I'll say this too, maybe even a dash of George Strait in this one.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of a song about, you know what, I'm a cowboy, right? I'm a singing cowboy. I've got to go out and do my thing. You know, I'm outside Missoula. I'm outside Albuquerque. You know, I'm outside Amarillo. And by the time it gets to the end, it's like, you know what, I got to go play this. The first two stops, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. You know, the love of my life is talking about leaving. But then he's like, you know what, I got to go do this show. You know, this is what I want to do. This is what I love. And this is what I want to do for my career. And if you don't want to support me in that, then what else can I do, right? Mm-hmm. Come on, you know, you could have said, come on the road with me, but
yeah.
Was he saying a song, she's 2,000 miles away or something like that, right? Yeah. So I think, you know, definitely a Keith Whitley, heavily, you know, influenced Keith Whitley in this, but I say a dash of Strait because of steel guitar work in this song. You know, you've got that steel guitar, and to me, that's a hallmark of a George Strait song, is that steel guitar.
Definitely.
So I would say you have that influence as well in this song.
Yes, I really like this song. It's very like kind of sad, but also kind of, I don't want to say happy, but like kind of just like, I don't really care about you. I mean, I do care about you, but if you're not going to support me, then, well, I don't care about you anymore.
By the end of the song. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I really like this song.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's my favorite off of the album.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And then the last one we'll talk about here is Honky Tonk Till It Hurts.
So honky tonk till it hurts. Yeah, honky tonk for all you.
All right, to me, this is the perfect end to the album. I love opening the album with an upbeat song, high energy song, and I love ending the album with that, right? And he's got all these great songs of different speeds and different tones and different, or I should say, evoke different feelings in between, right? Yeah. You're opening on a high note, in my opinion, happy note, and with this song, you're ending on a happy note, right? And I think I like it because it leaves me walking away from listening to the album then kind of on a happy note, like, oh man, that was a great album, right? Because really, psychologically, we tend to remember the first thing we hear and the last thing we hear.
Yeah.
And that's what affects us the most, right? And that's why this one probably won't get much play on the radio.
No.
It would be nice if it did, but it probably won't. But it's a great ending, a song to end the album with. It's just a fun song about celebrating some big life achievements with a night out at the honky tonk. I think he talks about in it like a work promotion and maybe an engagement or something like that. I should have written this stuff down. I would have been better if I did, but I didn't. But I think it's just a great all-around country song.
Yes, it's probably, when I think of country, I would probably think of this song being like, I don't know, very country. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a very country, very all-around country song, and I do like it. It's very good.
Yeah. All right, so we've got to now rate these songs on our proprietary scale. So starting with guitar, how do you rate that?
I give it a 4 out of 5 Nashville Hot Chickens.
Okay. Okay. To me, this is 5 Nashville Hot Chickens. 4 is great. I mean, you're in that 4 or 5 range. It's a banger of a song, right? All right. Good times and tan lines.
I gave it a 3, but that's just because I like it, but I like guitar more.
Okay.
that's my rating.
Are you comparing them?
Yes, kind of.
Okay. What if you didn't compare them?
If I didn't compare them,
Are you still at a 3? Because teaser here, if a song gets under a 4 Nashville Hot Chickens, we have to do something.
I don't know.
So you're going to stay at the 3?
I think I would still give it a 3.
Okay.
It's a good song.
Our rule here on Nashville Notes, if a song gets, or even an album, gets under 4 Nashville Hot Chickens, we have to answer the question, would a George Strait cover make it a better song? So does a George Strait cover make this a better song for you?
Honestly, I don't think it would. I don't think it's a very George Strait-ish song.
Okay.
An Alan Jackson cover, though.
Okay. Well,
that might make it
right.
better. Still a good song, though.
Okay. Fair enough. Flip flop.
I gave this one a 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 4 Nashville Hot Chickens on this one as well. It's a great song. Very Chesney-ish. It's up there for me on the album. But I think it's probably for me a notch below Good Times and Tan Lines and Guitar. Did I give my rating for Good Times?
You didn't.
That's 5 Nashville Hot Chickens as well.
I like Good Times and Tan Lines. It's just I listened to it too much and then I got bored of it.
Well, yeah, that happens. That's why you gotta mix it up. Mixing is important.
Yes.
Everybody out there, mix it up.
So you don't get bored.
So you don't get bored, especially with Zach Top, because you can probably tell at this point, but he's like my favorite new artist. Yeah. And my favorite artist. Yeah. Now. So, all right, South of Sanity.
This gets 5 Nashville Hot Chickens.
Yeah, I might have 5 Nashville Hot Chickens on this song as well. It's a great song.
It is.
Absolutely a great song. And Honky Tonk Till It Hurts.
I gave that one a 3 as well.
Okay. All right.
Would a George Strait cover make this better? I think it would. On this one, I could see George Strait singing it.
This is a George Strait song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm between. I like the song. Love the song.
Yes.
Love it as an ending for the album. Yes. But I think compared to the other songs, and I don't know if it's right to do that or not. We should probably consider each on their own merit. Yeah. But it's only natural, I think, to draw comparisons to other songs. I think I got to put this one at 3 Nashville Hot Chickens. And I would agree. A George Strait cover of the song would make it better.
Yes.
I mean, better for me. I not take anything away from Zach, of course.
Yes.
And obviously, we're doing this all in good fun as well. But I think it's one of those that it is absolutely a George Strait song.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Overall, the album. So I'll kind of give my opinion of the album and how I rate it, and then get your thoughts on the album. I think overall, no question, this is a country album from beginning to end. And country music has needed someone to step up into that more traditional format, albeit with a modern twist, right? I think we need that modern twist on it, and I like it. And I think Zach Top accomplishes that in his first 2 albums. There have been, very few, I should say, artists who have had the moment that have been kind of billed as that next up-and-comer, the next Toby, the next George, the next Alan Jackson, but they haven't been able to sustain that success. And I think what I really like is even though Zach, and we'll get into some of this, I'm sure, down the line as well, with artists who say this is, who I'm influenced by, and then they just go out and try and emulate and do exactly what that artist does. Doesn't work. I think Zach brings his own voice to the music. That's the most important thing. He's influenced by, obviously, Alan Jackson, George Strait, and Keith Whitley. We can hear that in his music. But he brings his own voice and his own stylings and his own storytelling to his music. And you see the influences, but it doesn't define him. He's not trying to emulate them. Yes, the music sounds very, very similar in a lot of cases, like we've talked about. But the storytelling piece is really what brings it together. And you don't see Zach trying to sing like George Strait or sing like Alan Jackson. He's singing like Zach Top.
Yeah.
top to bottom, Ain't In It For My Health is filled with banger after banger of songs, right? It's an album where I don't skip one song at all, ever.
No, definitely not.
Every time I listen to it. It's for me, 5 Nashville Hot Chickens.
That's a pretty good. I do like this album a lot. I listen to a lot of music when I'm doing school and at work and stuff. And this one is always in the rotation because I'll listen to them like from start to finish, you know?
Yep. And
I was listening to this one the other day in preparation for this, and I hadn't listened to it for a while. I'm like, wow, why this needs to get thrown back in the rotation. It's really good. Because I was kind of in my Megan Maroney phase at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might go back in my Zach Top phase because it's a really good album. Definitely no skips.
Yeah.
Not a single skip on this album. No. And I know I rated some 3, but they're still good, but just there's others that are better. That's all I know. But I would probably give it a 5 as well.
Yes.
It's a very good album.
Yeah. So we've got 5 out of 5 Nashville Hot Chickens for this album, which is where it should be.
Yes.
I mean, this is a great country album for country music fans, call it the traditional country. If you're looking for that traditional country music, Zach Top's your guy.
If you're getting bored of the modern pop, that's pretty much all they play on country radio, definitely try out Zach Top.
The pop tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. So, first episode in the books. Before we go, we'd appreciate it if you told a friend about us. Podcasts, a lot of our growth comes from just you sharing with friends, family, strangers on the street, strangers at a concert, whatever. And also, please reach out to us. We're on all the major socials, your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know if we'll have a Snap or not. We'll see about that one. But you can follow our pages there. Subscribe to us, of course. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform because that'll give you notifications every time we drop a new episode. And then you can email us. Send it to NashvilleNotesMusic@gmail.com. So with that, thank you for tuning in today. For Ellie, Cowgirl Ellie, Country Ellie. Country Ellie. We're still trying to get this right. I am the mayor, Ryan Mueller. We'll catch you on the next one.